I'd rather eat crumbs with bums than steaks with snakes. Don't ask me what I bring to the table, so I brought the motherfucking table.
Alright, now let's get to the video, people. Let's get to the video.
What up, people, and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like, show in attendance, all that good stuff. So the most exciting thing for you guys is when you guys buy a truck. You're like, oh man, I got my first truck. You're all excited, but you're like, now what do I do? And that's what this video is for. First thing I like to do, or ask you guys to do when you guys first buy a truck, if you guys can, if you can't, don't worry about it. But if you can, go somewhere, go get a dyno done on the truck. It's already your truck. I get it. I understand. But a lot of people are like, SoCal, I don't like breakdowns. You know, my truck's a 1954 and I don't want to go out there and I don't want to be worried and stressed out that I'm going to blow up an engine, I'm going to break down. So what helps with that is a dyno. Let's say you got a Cummins engine, right? You can go to Cummins and drive the truck over there, go to Cummins and say, do me a favor. Can you do a dyno on my truck? I want to see the blow-by on my engine. You want a dyno with a blow-by test, people. A dyno with a blow-by test, okay? That'll tell you a lot. And what's great about that is they'll say, oh my gosh, this ain't, because every truck has some kind of blow-by, right? And they go by percent. Is it 4% or is it 22%, right? So typically, I'm going to speak on the Cummins. Typically, when you're over 18%, 19%, get ready for a rebuild. If you're under that, it's okay. A brand new engine is like 4 or 5%. But that helps you out. You go down there, you get a dyno, you get a blow-by test. Now, what does that do for you? That makes you feel better about your purchase, right? Makes you feel great. You drive it back home, your blow-by is like 9%, 10%, 12%. You're like, oh man, I feel great. Now you know you can make some money. Is it guaranteed the engine's not going to go out? Absolutely not. But what it does do, it gives you some history of the condition of the engine at the time. Next thing you want to do, get load ready with your truck, is do what? Well, you want to go get it DOT compliant, right? You want to go get a DOT inspection, especially if you have your own authority. When you have your own authority, the rules are you got to go, anytime you add equipment to your fleet, you have to go get it inspected to put it into your fleet. So the first thing you want to do is check for all your air leaks. One thing I'd like to do, tell you guys, your first truck, you want to go out there, you want to kill it. All the inexpensive things to replace, just replace it. I don't care if it needs it or not. And I'm going to give you some items I'm talking about. Because replace them, get them out of the way. Let's say a brake can. A brake can, now I don't know what it costs in your area, but they're typically like 80 bucks, somewhere around like that, right? But if you blow one out and you're stuck somewhere and you don't know how to, you don't know how to cage it, now you got a roll call service, they're going to tow you. So a little bit of nothing is going to cost you thousands of dollars, right? And when you're starting off, you need to save as much money as you can. I always tell people when you buy a truck, if you don't have a big chunk of money in the bank, stay being a company driver and put your truck together first. One thing I'd recommend you guys to do is this. You got a pen and paper together? If not, you can play it back. That's what's great about video. I would replace the brake cans, right? Brake chambers, brake cans, whatever you guys want to call it, I'd replace those. Another thing I'd want to replace, depending on the truck, is slack adjusters. So what does that do for you? Well, number one, when they replace that stuff, you know that the brakes are adjusted, so you're going to pass inspection. The second thing is, now that you being a new person, being out on the road and hitting these hills and stuff, mountains and stuff like that, and you're a little paranoid going down and stuff like that, now you pretty much got good, even braking power. Your brake cans are working, your slack adjusters are evenly working, and that's going to really help you out a lot. Another thing I'd want to tell you guys to do is make sure no matter where you get the truck, get the oil change done. You know, somebody could say, hey, yeah, you know, when you buy the truck from somebody or whatever, oh yeah, we just did the oil change. Look, it's your truck now, it's your investment. Do you want to trust their word? Unless you got paperwork, change the oil, grease that truck, get it ready. Another thing I do is just check the tires out. Typically, for some reason, people don't change out their tires, their front tires. I like to do it 100,000 miles, you know, somewhere around there on the front tires. But you know what? You don't throw them away. That's when they become good trailer tires. A lot of people, like the Freightliner that I bought at the auction, if you look at it, it's got pretty good tread on it, but I could look at it and tell that there's more than 100,000 miles, they will get replaced. If you have to make some money first to go get the tires, that's fine. I might, to try my truck out, I might run it for a second, then put the new tires on. Another thing I'll tell you guys to do is replace the batteries. Very, very inexpensive to replace the batteries. Depending on how many batteries you have, it can cost you anywhere between $400 to $800 to replace your batteries. It really sucks. You got a great load, you're all excited, you're going somewhere, next thing you know, you go to start the truck up, or you're at the fuel pump, go to start up, the truck don't start, now you need batteries. Very inexpensive, but it could be a big issue. Replace those batteries. Not just replace the batteries. Check those battery terminals and make sure they're nice and clean. Check your connectors, check your connections. You should have a wire going into the battery box, and sometimes that one fails because remember the batteries, it's got to have a lead going out to something. Another thing to do is check your starter and your solenoid. Another inexpensive part, but once again, it could be a big deal if you got a shipper or receiver. You're loaded, you're excited, you're ready to go, and the truck don't start. Now, if you own the truck for a long time or a while and you know about the truck, that's one thing. But this is a video for people that are starting out, limited funds, trying to get rolling. You know, replace this stuff before you get on the road. If that means you got to be a company driver for a little longer, great. Because you know when you get on the road and you do these things, you know you're going to be all right. Another thing I replace, belts and hoses. Very, very inexpensive to replace belts and hoses and the clamps. Don't be cheap about things. Don't replace one new hose, you know, and say, oh, the clamps are good. Replace belts, replace hoses, replace clamps. Very inexpensive, but if you blow down bottom radiator hose, there goes all the coolant, and you guys know how much coolant costs. And typically those bottom hoses, they're made of special, they're designed just for your truck or just for that engine. Typically the top ones, you can go to an AutoZone, you can go wherever, and you're okay. The bottom ones, sometimes, the way it's designed with the curves and all that kind of stuff, sometimes, you know, they're a dealer hose. Another thing I would tell you guys to replace is the alternator. Check out that alternator. Again, extremely, extremely inexpensive. But if it ain't charging the batteries, guess what? It could kill the batteries, and slowly but surely, all kinds of different things can happen. Very inexpensive to change an alternator. Why not just do it? Another cheap item that can cause a lot of headaches for you is your air compressor. Now, when you replace the air compressor, depends on your engine, depends on the year of the truck, depends on a lot of different things. Just make sure, along with the air compressor, the governor's brand new also. You're going to make sure all that is brand spanking new. Can't build air pressure. Things going down the hills, not building fast enough. Just because it's pumping don't mean it's working at its full potential. Just replace it, be done with it. Another thing I'll do on a truck, getting load ready, is do your overhead. Do your overhead. It's what they call a tune-up on a diesel engine. A lot of people honestly don't know, or just flat don't do it, do their overhead on the engine. That's very, very inexpensive, and it's a great thing to do. Now, typically, depending on the miles of your engine, if you're past 700,000 miles, or 650s, 700s, or whatever, and you don't know any history of the engine, what I would also do is, before I go to the dyno, is replace the rods and mains, the bottom end of the engine, rods and mains. I know, oh shoot, SoCal, that's expensive. No, it's not. It's under $2,000. It's under, depending on your mechanic, depending on how you do it, it's under $2,000. They pull the oil pan, rods and mains, replace the oil pump while you're down there, right? And put that stuff together. What that does is that'll give you more life to your engine, and that's what you need to do, is get the most life you can out of that engine before you have to rebuild it. Make the most money you possibly can. So that's a few items. You're like, God dang, SoCal, that's a lot of stuff. But if you really spend some time, call up whoever, wherever you get your parts, not a dealer. Go to a mechanic, go wherever, itemize all that stuff. And you don't have to do it all at one time if you don't want to, but make that a goal to do that. You realize once you start doing stuff like that, number one, it's going to put your mindset, hey, so every time when something needs it, your mind is ready for it. Another thing I would do is look at the water pump. Especially in the summertime. You're all excited, just got the truck, it's summertime, and the freaking water pump goes out. Now, depending on your truck, depending on your age, your engine, stuff like that, the water pump's still inexpensive, but the labor is a little bit pricey at times. So think about that when you decide to put new belts on. Think about the water pump. Again, if it goes out, it can cost a whole lot out on the road. If you do it at the house while you're still a company driver, it's minimal damage. Another thing, clutch fan. Clutch fan. Now, that don't have to be changed like right away. But just know, if you have 800,000 miles on that thing, that, hey, you know what? I need to save up to replace my clutch fan. Now, how to check the clutch fan is you grab the fan and see if there's any movement. If there's any movement in that thing, you know that clutch fan's on its way out. But those are typically some minor preventive maintenance things you can do when you first get a truck. You're all excited, you want to get on the road, and you want your truck load ready. Those are some items that will help you guys out where you can get on the road and feel good about yourself, knowing you're gonna get to point A to point B and make your money. So I really hope this video is very helpful. For me, I actually enjoy making the videos. I enjoy making videos like this. But this is a video to help you. I realize in the comments you're gonna say, SoCal, what about this? SoCal, what about this? The items that I mentioned are the most inexpensive stuff to start off that's going to help you out. You can go on and go on and go on. Keep replacing stuff on your truck, like your glad hands in the back, your airlines in the back, and different things like that. But those, in my opinion, those are the biggest things that I like to do on a truck that's high mileage, that I know, that I don't know if it's been replaced or not. Now, on the Freightliner that I just picked up, I have this. I bought a Freightliner. It said Prime on the side of it. That's why I bought it. Shout out to Marco. He works at Prime. I gave him the truck number. He gave me the whole maintenance book of the whole truck since it's brand spanking new. I have it right here in my hands. So me knowing the truck I just bought, I can build my maintenance records on it and know when things are replaced on the truck. So I don't have to guess. So I don't have to say, okay, everything I mentioned, I won't replace it on that truck, because if I look at this and it was replaced 6 months ago or whatever, I know I'm okay on it. But typically when you guys buy trucks, you guys don't have stuff like this. So when you don't, you have to protect yourself. And that's how you guys do it. But anyway, this is a short little video. I'm going to be doing episodes of you know, trucking 101, from first getting your CDL, how to find the best job, just start to the end. We're gonna go through the whole thing.